He didn't qualify for a company pension, so instead he bought shares in his employer's business. For a local lad, what could be safer than a solid local bank? From humble origins in the 19th century, Northern Rock had grown to become a national provider of savings accounts and mortgages to millions in the UK. It was trusted. It was part of the establishment. Dennis's wife might have been concerned when the price of the bank's shares dipped somewhat in 2007, threatening their retirement plans, but Dennis remained confident. That trust was betrayed on the 14th of September when Northern Rock admitted it was running low on funds and had to seek an emergency bailout from the Bank of England. Panic ensued. Savers rushed to its 72 branches to rescue their life savings. Queues wrapped around the block. The phone lines were jammed. Politicians offered reassurances about the future of the bank, but the queues just kept getting longer, including at a branch just yards from the Bank of England. The first run on a British bank in 150 years was underway. It was an unbelievable sight in the world's financial capital. Behind the scenes, embarrassed politicians and bankers feverishly explored rescue options for what they surreally called Project Elvis. Within months, the government had taken over the bank, and Dennis's shares, once worth more than £110,000, were worthless. He'd done what too few of us managed to do. He'd saved diligently to provide for his future, but it was all for nothing. Northern Rock has now become synonymous with the financial crash of 2008 that taught us to expect the unexpected. From the first early signs, most people didn't recognise that disaster was coming, and on an unprecedented global scale. When the crisis imploded, prudent Dennis was among those paying a steep price for the misbehaviour of others, and he continues to fight for compensation from the UK government. It's not just for him. He's spearheaded a campaign on behalf of many former shareholders. A world away from the fat cats pilloried in the press in the wake of the crisis, many of those seeking compensation are the widows or children of former employees who thought Northern Rock was as safe as the houses it financed. Who is to blame for such a catastrophe? The UK government is the first port of call for redress, but the blame for the crisis that claimed these ordinary people's savings may lie further afield. We might look to the bankers who sidestepped the rules and were relying on dubious funds to bolster their profits. Or we might look to those lenders who approved loans to American consumers who couldn't afford to pay them back. We might wonder how the actions of individuals have contributed to something so enormous and so seemingly out of anyone's control. To understand fully what happened to Dennis and the millions of others whose prosperity was dented in 2008, we need to look at how the global economy works. The world as we know it is becoming both smaller and more complex. 7 billion of us live and work on this earth, and we are all vying for the same items in limited supply: food or oil or even smartphones. It's an increasingly interconnected system in which a word from a banker in Washington or Berlin can lead to pensioners in Greece going hungry, or a young man leaving his family to trek across sub-Saharan Africa in search of a better life. This shrinking of the world, or globalization, often seems like a vast impersonal force, and it seems we can't escape it. 8 time zones away in Beijing, Wang Zhenlin's experience has been very different from that of Dennis Granger. Born in Sichuan province in 1954, Wang Zhenlin followed his father into the People's Liberation Army, but that family tradition wasn't enough to satisfy him. Instead, within a few decades, he became a property mogul worth billions of dollars and has gone on to amass a global portfolio, including the world's largest movie theatre chain and priceless Picassos. Not many former Chinese border guards get compared to a James Bond villain, but this erstwhile communist foot soldier has an empire that Blofeld would...